Hey, love bugs. It's Dr. Ashley Greer here. I want to talk to you a little bit today about why love is so important, right? Now, you might be thinking when you see the title of this video, well, you're talking about loving of other people. You're talking about how important it is to have these relationships that are full of love. And of course, I do mean that. But the most essential component actually happens to be love of self. Now, many people get very confused about why I talk so much about self-love. I talk about self-love is not selfish. Self-first is not selfish. And in fact, it allows you to love other people more and from a more full and robust place. The reason I talk about this so much is that there is a true misunderstanding of what it means to be self-loving in our culture. Many people believe self-loving and self-first means that we are putting ourselves above other people, like in a narcissistic way, saying that I'm better than you. That is not what it means whatsoever. What it means is that I truly love myself from a place of absolute compassion, absolute self-acceptance, absolute sense of I am enough. And when I can pour that much love and affection and absolute adoration into me at all times, it means that I now have that to give to everyone else around me. I now come to all of my relationships from a place of deep fulfillment, deep sense of wholeness, a deep sense of absolute connection instead of this sense of need. See, here's the truth about relationships in our culture. Currently, most of them run from a place of need. People get into relationships, whether they're intimate, whether they're friendships, whatever they are, because they need another person, because they need the acknowledgement, because they need affirmation, because they need people to like them. All of this comes from a place of protecting our secret pains, our secret shames, our shadow inside of us that says that we're really not good enough. And so we need other people to constantly acknowledge us. We need accomplishments to acknowledge us. We need things to acknowledge us, to show us that we're enough, that we are fabulous, that we are amazing, that we are absolutely outstanding individuals, instead of just knowing this from a true and abiding sense of self-love and self-wholeness that comes from putting ourselves first and saying, I deserve to be full. Because when I am full, everything else around me becomes full. You actually can get into better intimate relationships when you come from this perspective. Many people think like, well, no, now what's gonna happen is I'm gonna come from this place of like putting myself first. I'm gonna fulfill all my needs, and then I won't need anybody else, and then I'll never have any close relationships. That's not what happens. That's what happens when you believe that relationships are run from a place of I need other people, and that's their value to me. When you are full and you give yourself everything that you need and everything that you desire, guess what? The relationships that you enter into are from a place of choice, from a place of deep connection, from a place like a deep heart space where you are deciding that this other person makes your life better. It's not as though you have to have that person, otherwise you're going to start to feel bad about yourself. It's not as though you have to have that other person, giving you this validation, or you're going to start to feel as though you're not a good person. It's not as though, you have to fulfill yourself with relationships any longer. Instead, you choose relationships that are like frosting on this beautiful, yummy cake that is your life, that is yourself. Another way of putting this is like going to a buffet, right? If you go to a buffet and you're starving, you're going to just start shoveling whatever, the first couple things in your life. The first couple things in the buffet line in your mouth to just fill yourself up because you're so hungry. You're going to fill up on the cottage cheese. I don't know why they always put the cottage cheese first. I love cottage cheese, but, you're at a buffet with lobster and sushi and salmon and whatever the hell else you want, lava cake, all sorts of yumminess. Why are you going to fill up on cottage cheese? But if you're starving, you are going to fill up on the first thing you see because you're just like, I got to have it, I need it, I'm starving for it. This is what self-love does. It makes it so that we are not going out into the world starving. We are not just trying to fill ourselves up with whatever we can find. Self-love makes it so that we no longer settle for the cottage cheese people of the world, cottage cheese experiences, cottage cheese jobs, cottage cheese, desires, and instead we allow ourselves the time and the grace to walk down this buffet and say, what do I really want? What will really fulfill me? What will really make my life better? I want to live on a beach. I want to work for myself. I want to, marry a man who is affectionate and gives me compliments. I want to, I don't know, fly an airplane. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you become deeply, deeply connected with what you truly want when you come from a place of self-love. If you are not coming from a place of self-love, deep and abiding and true self-love, then you are filling yourself up with what you can find, because you're looking to anchor your love. You're looking to fill your love cup from the outside. This is why settling happens. This is why people don't know what their desires are. This is why people go people-pleasing everybody around them. And this is why love is so important, is because if you fill your cup, guess what? Everything else falls into line. You get to have everything you desire, everything you want. And this is what I do. This is the work that I do with my clients. I help them put themselves first, drop all the sense of guilt and selfishness that it's bad, that their emotions are bad. Emotions are just information. I'm going to do a separate video on that later. Help them feel this deep and abiding sense of self-love that fills up their cup so that they can choose what they want from the buffet instead of feeling as though they're forced to just stuff their face with whatever they can find because they're starving for love. Now, if you're interested in talking more about what it might be like to work with me, I want to invite you to PM me, send me a personal message, reach out. I would love to chat with you. I usually set up a complimentary 30-minute session with you to just jam and talk about what's going on for you. I never, ever talk people into working with me because I believe that we are all called to this work at the perfect, most unique, most brilliant time when our soul is ready to evolve to the next level. And we are being called to this deep level of self-love because we are truly ready to go out in the world and select what it is we truly want. Now, you might be asking, why the heck does Ash have all these like little flowers around her hair? I live in Bali. If you haven't noticed, I'm here in my garden in Bali, and I actually went to a beautiful, beautiful Balinese ceremony this morning where we actually worshipped at the temple. And I took my time at the temple this morning and I actually prayed for my clients, and I prayed for those lives that I get to touch and I get to connect with. And I prayed for each and every one of you to realize how beautiful you are, how amazing you are, and to be filled with this sense of worthiness and self-love and absolute wholeness. Until next time, I'll see you there. If you haven't yet, follow me here, click the follow button, see me first. I always come to you with amazing messages just like this that will help you embrace your own sense of worthiness, self-love, and revolutionary evolution so that you can get everything you want in your relationships, in your business, in your health, in every area of your life, because it all starts with putting yourself first and loving yourself so fully that you no longer seek that acknowledgement from others, and you can actually just be there, be present, be totally solid. Talk to you soon. Bye.